Kuumba Nia. She is a mentor, author and all-round inspirational speaker, so I'd like to welcome her today. So to start with, I'd like to get a little bit of information about what you do and what your business is about.
Okay, I'm known as the Mastery Mentor, and basically my focus is working with business owners on their self-mastery and their self-knowledge. And the idea behind that is that when, as a business owner, you know yourself and you know the things that trip you up and you know the things that motivate you, you can use that to your benefit and to your business's benefit. Basically, it affects your bottom line. The truth of it is that it's the same in life as well. So I use that principle with business owners as well as individuals.
Fantastic. And how did your journey begin on this self-mastery?
Some years ago, in another incarnation, I used to work for local government, and at one point, my department was restructured. My department remained intact, but I was restructured out of my department. And consequently, that required me to go through a number of hoops to apply for the job that I was already doing. In that process, I came to realise what I was capable of. And I think for a number of years I had been aware of that. I've been coasting, I've been just doing the thing that I always do. But I hadn't appreciated what it was that I was capable of. I hadn't appreciated my talents, my abilities, my accomplishments, nothing. And I also hadn't appreciated some of the things that were keeping me stuck. But the way people were perceiving me as a consequence of the things that I wasn't prepared to face in myself had meant that people could draw conclusions and act on decisions that were not necessarily conducive to me, but were about their lives.
Okay. So in regards to the restructuring, which left you without a post, have you experienced any other setbacks that have made you feel like giving up your business or have affected the type of business you've gone into?
Very much so. My journey into personal development was as a consequence of my experience. What it led me to was the setting up of the HPD Centre, a Centre for Holistic Personal Development. It was a place where people could come and learn, could experience complementary therapies, could take workshops, could do things that would enhance them. And at the height of the recession in 2009, I was compelled to close my centre. And I have to say, of all the things that I've done, it was probably the most painful. I have a friend who didn't know me at the time, and even when I speak of it, she says they love that I speak of it, because it was a place that was, it held my spirit, but it did that for everybody else that came through the door. The energy, the work, the way that people interacted, the sense of camaraderie, the sense of spiritual connection, it was just amazing. And to bring that to a close before I was ready, but then I guess the universe was ready, before I was ready, was very painful.
So self-knowledge and self-mastery are key terms that you use in your work. Me mastery is a phrase also that you use, and how would you describe this to the audience?
Me mastery is a very simple concept. It's the idea that the only thing that you have to master in your life is yourself. It doesn't matter what Tom, Dick, Harry or Harriet are doing. It doesn't matter what your mother said, it doesn't matter what your father said, it doesn't matter about employees. What matters is that you have a sense of who you are and you know who you are. Not in that conceited, deceitful sometimes way that we can do, so we acknowledge all the good bits but we ignore all the bad bits. But the way that actually says, this is who I am, and I know these are the things that trip me up. I know these are the things that if I were to really go there, if I were to really develop myself, if I was to really push, I could be so much more. And those are the things that usually put me fear. So me mastery for me is coming to grips with a sense of who you are, so that you can use the mastery of that feeling, that knowledge to propel you forward.
So would you say that it's worth investigating your characteristics and your traits before embarking on the idea of starting a business? Would you say it's worth doing that self-investigation and looking into that?
Most definitely. Knowledge of self, whether you're in business or not, is primary, it's paramount. In business, it's even more important because you are your business. Right? It doesn't matter whether there's you, whether there's 5 people that you hire, whether there's 50 or 500. The direction that the business takes is based on who you are and how you're being, how you're showing up in the world. And what I like to say to clients is how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you know that you're the kind of person that leaves everything to the last minute, this is fine for some things, but it's not going to work when you have company returns to send in. It's not going to work when you have accounts. It's not going to work when you have proposals to draw up. It's not going to work if there is something that you need to do that's dependent on a time frame. Now, that doesn't mean that you suddenly have to go away in sackcloth and ashes and think how dreadful the person you are. But it means that if you know that, that's something you can offer to somebody else to do. If you know that, then you can play to your strengths and not to your weaknesses. But it also means that if you're somebody who avoids things, it's what I call dishonesty, denial, and self-delusion. If you're somebody who stays in that place, then there'll be a number of things that come up for you that will be a shock. And they'll be a shock because you didn't tell yourself the truth.
So tell me a little bit more about the Circle of One and how to heal your relationships. That seems like a really poignant piece of work that obviously reflects some of the things we've just been talking about.
Most definitely. It was one of those things that I wouldn't have been settled and I wouldn't fully have embarked on my journey unless I'd done it. Because the Circle of One was based on the work I was doing with clients. I did a number of one-to-one sessions with clients and programs. And what I was finding, sadly, scarily, was that the issues that were coming up with clients were not just their issues, they were my issues. So what I found was I'd be speaking to someone and I could hear myself asking a question or giving an insight and realise that actually that was my stuff. Now any therapist, any person that works one-to-one with clients, if they're really honest, it'll be the same for everyone. What I found from that was that when you take the time to listen and you take the time to notice, you start to understand what's going on with you. The Circle of One is based on a very simple premise, which is that everyone and everything around us reflects the facet of us. So if you are surrounded by irritating, annoying people who are getting on your last nerve, the question to ask yourself is, where in your life are you being that way? It doesn't make me popular, trust me, but it's a question that you need to ask. And it doesn't matter whether it's irritability, it doesn't matter whether it's fear. You can be in a room and sometimes you're particularly anxious. One of the saving graces is you know that everybody else in the room is feeling a degree of that. It can be very powerful when you are open to the insight that it gives you and you have the compassion to recognize that what's going on in those other people is actually what's going on in you.
And since then, you've been given a fantastic opportunity to work collaboratively with a number of writers on a fantastic title that I love, that is Success in High Heels. And I know there's another part, the 30-day Fees to Success, but the first part, just Success in High Heels, screams volumes for me. Now, what was the experience of working with those writers like?
That was an amazing experience. The editor who put everything together, the compiler of the book, as it were, Christine Marmon, contacted me, I think this would have been in January, early January, and by February the book was done. It was with editors, it was being finished, and in April, although it was probably finished in March, in April it was launched, and to the accolade of international bestseller.
So the To Inspire Network, the main themes are to network, promote and inspire other businesswomen. What advice would you give on those areas for future businesswomen?
I love them. Networking can have a bad name, but the basis of networking is the recognition that we are all one and that we can draw on each other and we can have things that we can share with each other and that spirit of collaboration that we spoke about is implicit in that. Promotion, there are ways to promote. There are self-serving, egotistical ways, and there are mutually beneficial ways. And promotion is about, it's not, the billboard thing, it's about, actually, Patrice, I know somebody who wants to put something together, and I think their skills will be wonderful. And I'm going to mention them to you, put you two in touch, and you see how that works. And that's about recognizing what we have to offer, and by recognizing somebody else's needs, and just putting it together. Inspiration. People sometimes confuse inspiration and motivation. Motivation is external. Motivation is about, someone plays a record, somebody cheers, jumps up and down, you get really hyped, and that's fine. The problem with that is that you go away, and it's all gone. Right? When you're inspired, something has touched you. Inspire is in spirit. That's the root of the word. Something has touched you and has fired your spirit, and the desire to move comes from within. So when we network in the spirit of collaboration, when we promote in the spirit of collaboration, when we speak to and support each other's from the spirit of inspiration, it's all to
And on that collaborative and inspired note, I'd like to thank Kuumba Nia for joining me today for the Inspire Network interview. Thank you.